Good evening. Sun Villages is a journey that has been a very long one, but has arrived at a number of financial and social solutions. This evening I'm just going to cover the drivers of this project, drivers that motivated this quest. As a child I was living with a lot of cultures around the world as my father filmed the first ABC TV documentary, Travelogue, and I experienced the integratedness of all ages within the cultures and their different roles in each day of their life and their ages. We lived with the Laps up in Lapland, we lived with the Spanish down in the olive groves and the almond groves. We lived in little villages, densely populated villages that had the food growing on the external. When I returned back to Australia, I was surrounded by childless, wealthy great aunts, not only there but also in Sweden. And I became very aware of that they were very wealthy and had everything that money could buy, chauffeurs, maids, 24-hour nursing care. But I saw the loneliness. I became acutely aware that their needs were not being satisfied. I saw that money couldn't buy what I was looking for, and I committed in my childhood to create other choices. The other end of the life cycle, I became a single mum and realised there too was a hell of a lot of gaps. And I believed that the quality of life could be greatly improved. In 1977, Bill Mollison turned up on the scene. I was on an autonomous farm at that time and building my own solar house, growing 4 acres of potatoes. I had to sort of be sustainable because I didn't have any money. Bill Mollison talked about meta-industrial villages. This is before permaculture really took on. It was 77 when he first introduced permaculture. We were going down to my then husband, my now husband he joined me in 1977 with a similar vision. We went down to Tasmania and we were going to join Bill down there with doing a meta-industrial village. But it so happened that circumstances prevented us and we ended up staying up in the Canberra region. I need to see the slides. Sorry. I need the ones down the side there so that I can see what's coming up. No. Okay. Okay, so when you're sort of older, how are you going to be sustainable? There's just not enough people within a community to meet all of the needs. We become a slave to the physical body. So for me, we're tribal. We're tribal by nature. Institutionalised and corporate services, they just don't meet the needs of people that. As they're getting older. Especially last year I saw my mother sort of in a situation where she became incredibly lonely, even though there was a lot of family around, the 14 different carers in 14 days. There really isn't love involved. So we didn't go down to Tasmania, but we started experimenting a lot of different farming ways that Bill Mollison had suggested, Fukuoka's One Straw Revolution. And we started gathering together as a group, looking after our food. In 1981, a piece of land came up that was high-density urban land on the border of the ACT and New South Wales. It was actually in New South Wales, and it was 10 minutes to the airport, on the railway line to Sydney, and on a public transport bus route. And it was the ideal block. I went on radio and ABC radio and was interviewed, and 13 of us gathered together and we formed a group at that point to buy the land. We came to the conclusion that eating together was vitally important, was part of the social glue, and an interesting experience at that point was that everywhere we went, people were criticising community dining rooms. Oh, how's it going to work? Oh, it just can't work. 1988, the co-housing book came out, And if anybody knows about the 100th monkey thing, I think that actually happened, because from 1988 after, nobody ever questioned us about a community dining room and how it could function. Certainly the model of the isolated suburban sprawl thing didn't appeal to us, and I was beginning to look at why. And I think we artificially created zonings, and we disconnected from our food and the need for each other. So I believe that the way we organise our society and the extent to which we encourage interaction among the citizens and the degree we trust and associate with each other in caring communities is probably the most important determinant of our health. So architects and planners, or mainly planners here, I believe you're responsible for our health more than the doctors. So Sun Villages, the Sun Villages model, the freedom to change your housing choices at no cost. So expanding and contracting architecture, that's one of the main things that we've been working on. Much lower ongoing expenses, so your weekly expenses go down quite a lot. Improved and more secure residential real estate returns for the investor, because all residents need to be investors. It enables investment in and extraction from real secure real estate without agents, banks, solicitors and stamp duty charges. It's an excellent and secure opportunity for individual super funds to impact, invest and bring about social change. And I believe that the super funds, Bill Mollison on one of his last tours around Australia sort of talked about, what's your money doing tonight? Take some responsibility. Our super funds, $1.3 trillion offshore in corporations that very few of us really agree with the actions of. So for us, sort of looking at the way that people could invest money socially responsibly directly in their local area was a very, very important criteria on the financial side. So by people pulling together with the power of money, we can play a part and assist in the creation of social and ecological sustainability. So to create sustainable abundance. And one more point, is it really okay if our kids can't afford to put a roof over their head, even though they work 5 days a week, year after year? Okay, so the Sun Village model is pretty simple. It's just an amalgamation of things that we know already within our existing system. It's a public, non-listed private company, or not a private company, a public company that owns the land and the real estate. People can buy in and out. There's a foundation or a non-profit organisation that runs a lot of businesses within the model, and an internal trading system. Then the presentation's generally about 2 hours long, so that's why I'm just sort of covering the background and a bit of an outline. We've got quite a lot of people on our team now, and this is the artist's impression of first stage. First stage is now constructed. This area out here, the grass area, is actually open countryside. There's a railway line there that's a border. So we've got this northern aspect out over countryside, which was vitally important to us, and a lot of us are starting to garden that area. So this is the first stage. Just flick it through. Second stage, and down in contrast to the Australian bush sort of feel, we've got an internal hub of beautiful green areas. See, the views are looking out over that sort of countryside. So there's 74 places built, and another, because the last stage is flexible architecture, we've got a big workspace. It's flexible architecture, we're not exactly sure how many will end up, but about 100 people probably in third stage. So now we've got a short presentation on, we'll give it a bit of a summary. Skip to the next. Yeah, okay. Yep.
Thank you, Stina.